Andrea Mitchell held a pretty decent interview with Debbie Wasserman Schultz regarding Hillary Clinton's claims that she wanted to become a Marine. I've got it for you here, and I hope you enjoy it.
Good to talk to you. I have to tell you, I've covered her a long time. I was unaware of this, but she first said it when she was First Lady in 1994 at a meeting on the Hill. And then it was written up by Maureen Dowd back in 1994. It doesn't track. Maureen wrote, Mrs. Clinton offered the story to illustrate how far women had come. She said it was not an isolated situation for women to be turned away by military recruiters. She lauded efforts to bring women into more aspects of military service. That said, she had worked for both George McGovern, and Gene McCarthy. She was actively against the war in Vietnam. Why on earth would she go to a Marine recruiter in 1975 and try to...
Why?
And she was a lawyer professor in Fayetteville, Arkansas, married to Bill Clinton, or engaged to marry Bill Clinton. It doesn't make sense.
With all due respect, Andrea, why on earth are we talking about this?
Well, because she brought it up in New Hampshire the other day. If she hadn't brought it up, it would not be an issue in this campaign.
Andrea, what the story illustrated was that we have made a lot of progress in America. Secretary Clinton is absolutely right. I mean, back then, you did have a much tougher time for women to be able to, make it successfully through the recruitment process and move up in the military, and we've made tremendous progress since then. And same thing with the number of women that serve in Congress. We have a record number of women serving in Congress today. But even during the time that I've been in office, we've come a long way. It is absolutely important that we talk about during this presidential campaign the issues that are important to women. Not just that we need to make more progress when it comes to the opportunities for women, but that we need to make sure that we get equal pay for equal work, where there's a very stark contrast between our three candidates for president and the Republicans, all of whom oppose enforcing equal pay for equal work.
Congresswoman,
when it comes to, yes.
I mean, with all due respect, I won't defer to anyone in terms of people who've done stories over the decades about the challenges of women in the military.
Remarkable.
So I don't think that's the point. I think the point is just, did this happen? You have a presidential candidate, the front runner in the Democratic Party, saying something happened, which is quite strikingly dissonant to people who knew her back then. We're trying to find, I mean, the bottom line is that her campaign spokesman put out a statement saying her interest was sincere, and it is insulting but not surprising that Republicans would attack her for this too. So Nick Merrill is not saying she was doing it to make a point. He says that her interest in being recruited was sincere, I think.
I just find it really unreasonable, Andrea, and I know you have done stories, and I certainly don't question your track record of making sure that those types of issues are raised publicly. But this is a personal story that Hillary Clinton has told, and it's not the first time she told it. It didn't come up out of the blue. But using it as an illustration is an important way to jump off so that you can talk about the topic of making sure that we continue to make progress for women in this country in a variety of ways, where Democratic candidates for president are fighting for that, and Republicans want to take women backwards. Republicans have brought us to the brink where they were willing to shut the government down over Planned Parenthood funding and access to health care for women. This is a personal story of Hillary Clinton's, and it is one that I've heard over the last few days is not where you can go back and ask a recruiter whether that happened. She was using it as an illustration, and it's not the first time she raised it, and it's an appropriate illustration and a personal experience. I mean, do we need every single experience in a person's life to be written in stone and blood and very verifiable? There are things that happen to people all across America that can't be verified. And I know your next question is going to be about Ben Carson, and I think, quite frankly, the same goes for stories about Ben Carson. The issues that are important to Americans in this race are who is going to go to bat for them, have their back, and make sure that they can build those cornerstones of the middle-class life.
And fair enough. In that regard, I was going to play a little bit of Donald Trump and try to see how you react to him questioning her credentials
really cold out
on women's issues. Let's play Donald Trump.
she's playing the woman card up. That's all she has. Honestly, outside of the woman's card, she's got nothing going, believe me. She's playing the woman's card big league. And I know so many women, they said, I wouldn't vote for her. If you gave me $1 million, I wouldn't vote for her.
Have at it.
Well, you know, Donald Trump has made misogynistic statements throughout this entire campaign, been patronizing towards women. And I will tell you that whether it's Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, or Martin O'Malley, the overwhelming majority of women in this country support the agenda that they have been talking about championing if they were to become president. And the Republicans have all talked about issues that would turn the clock back for women, whether it's on our health care, whether it's on making sure that we can get equal pay for equal work, whether it's making sure that we have access to an affordable education, which so many women don't have access to. Now that you've got families in America who are headed by women, in 40% of those who have children in the household. And we need to make sure that women have economic opportunities so that they can have a good job with good pay, a good roof over their head, access to quality, affordable health care, making sure that they can build towards a good education and then have a secure and safe retirement. All of those things are under attack by any one of the Republican candidates, and all three of our candidates have been the champion of those issues so that we can make sure Americans in this country have the chance to succeed. And that's the contrast that we continue to have in this election.
Congresswoman, thank you very much. We'll all be watching the debate. Thanks for being with us today.